We begin our look at sports on the NBA hardwood as the association tries to restart from the coronavirus pandemic in Orlando, Florida. The league might be ready to play games, but COVID-19 isn't. Two of the 322 NBA players who have arrived at Walt Disney World's bubble since July 7th have tested positive for COVID-19 while in quarantine. Meanwhile, roughly 20 players, including Houston Rockets star Russell Westbrook, tested positive during in-market testing since July 1st. Newly signed BronxNet Michael Beasley also leaves the Orlando bubble with coronavirus. We talked with NBA Hall of Famer and current TNT analyst Charles Barkley at the American Century Golf Tourney in Lake Tahoe about the state of the NBA.
We've seen nothing like this pandemic in our lifetime. We got so many businesses that are ruined forever. All these, we got so many people who are going to be out of work forever. It's changed their life. I just hope none of the players get sick because I think it'll be catastrophic for the NBA to get started and then have to stop. I think it'll also be bad if we have a bunch of star players who get the virus and we don't have a legitimate champion. But if everybody's healthy, this will be a great accomplishment.
The pandemic isn't making the transition back an easy one, but a lot of sports are trying their best, and that includes World Team Tennis. The games are in West Virginia this year. We caught up with Sloane Stephens and Kim Kleisters to discuss the return of tennis.
It took some adjustments to get used to everything, but I think now we've adjusted really well, and a lot of things have become a routine, so that's how we will keep ourselves comfortable, knowing that we are following the guidelines, and that's the job that we will try to do to protect us and to protect others, even when we are competing.
Nobody wants anyone to get sick or be in trouble or be in danger, so I think just being responsible and making sure that you're actively doing what you can for yourself and to protect others, I think is the most important thing.
Back here in the Big Apple, we've got baseball and hockey with no fans. Here's the latest from Yankee Camp.
We've been doing a great job of trying to keep our distance from each other and wear masks when we're inside all the time, and just try and follow the protocols that have been put in place to try and stay as safe and healthy as possible. And, hopefully we can continue to do that.
We have a same mission. The mission is win everything, and that is the job. That is the focus and mentality, and we prepare right now to get there.
Baseball is officially back for now. The National Hockey League and the NHL Players Association complete the ratification process of the league's return to play plan, setting up for a resumption and conclusion of the 2019-2020 season in the anticipated 24-team tournament. With rising cases of coronavirus in the U.S., the hub cities are in Canada, Toronto, and Edmonton. The NHL sets August 1st as the start date of the qualifying round. Training camp for the New York Rangers opened last week. And we've got the latest. Here's more with the Broadway Blue Shirts.
It's fun to see everyone again. It's a weird time right now, and obviously it was a lot of uncertainty. So with, are we coming back to play and what's happening and all the safety stuff as well. So now we're here. Everything seems to be good, and guys are happy to be back. Guys are excited for this opportunity that we have right now, and there's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of fun in that locker room. So I'm hoping we will continue where we left off.
I'm not looking too far. I'm taking it week by week right now, and again, the three things I try to control and can control: physical, technical, mental. I feel like I'm well prepared there, and I'm just gonna give it my all here during camp, and we'll see what happens.
We want to pick up where we left off, and obviously, one of the things that's great about where we were is that we really liked a lot of that was going on with the chemistry amongst our lines and our deep pairing. So, I want to give these guys an opportunity to find that again. That might take some time because every guy's had an opportunity to do different things when it comes to staying sharp during this 4-month break and downtime. Some guys have had access to more things than others. So, some guys are ahead of other guys, and that's just the reality of the situation we're in. So we want to give our guys an opportunity. We certainly are putting a lot of stock in what went in during the regular season. So, just because a guy has a bad practice today or tomorrow or the next day doesn't mean I'm going to take a guy off one of the top two lines and bury him, in a situation that he hasn't been accustomed to. So, we certainly want to give our guys an opportunity to kind of find their way.
No sport has done better with the return than the UFC. UFC President Dana White is committed to holding events during the pandemic. While much of the sporting world has been shut down, the UFC has aggressively sought to find ways to schedule fights. The promotion has already staged fights in May and June in Jacksonville, Florida and Las Vegas. And now the UFC is in Abu Dhabi for a series of events with international athletes who can't come into the U.S. due to travel restrictions. That location has affectionately been called Fight Island, and events began there on July 11th, highlighted by a major pay-per-view fight between Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. Usman won the battle, the first of a series of great cards for the kings of mixed martial arts. In motorsport, Chase Elliott claims a $1 million checkered flag. The Hendrick Motorsports driver took first in NASCAR's 2020 All-Star race at Bristol Motor Speedway, thus pocketing the grand prize that came with it. Here's Chase.
To me, this is one of those prestigious events that the Cup Series only has, right? I mean, this is a special race on the schedule every year. There's a lot of hype around it. And the other thing about it is, it's something you have to race your way into. And luckily we raced our way into this deal for life now. So, that means a lot.
In IndyCar, the veteran Scott Dixon has been the headliner. He wins 3 straight of the first 4 races of the season, including the road course at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on July 4th weekend. Here's Dixon after the race.
So good to be racing here back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've had, so many runner-up spots here on the road course. It was just nice we got lucky, man. The strategy, the team just nailed it. We got lucky with our caution. But as soon as we got the balance right, man, the PNC bag number 9 just checked out. So it was a pretty easy day towards the end of the part.
IndyCar was in Iowa over the weekend. Here's veteran Tony Kanaan discussing the series return to Iowa.
To me, I just really want to enjoy and just really be in the car and do what I do. And I think that's the best place to be. For me, it's a good track. So hopefully, I'm extremely, extremely hopeful that we'll be very competitive there, which is going to help a lot. And just really enjoy the weekend.
Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for some commentary on sports outside the lines. COVID-19 might be dominating the headlines, but make no mistake about it, we are seeing changes elsewhere in the landscape of the country outside of the pandemic. Changes for the good, even if it took the worst to make them happen. Case in point, the Washington Redskins. The franchise announces it is officially retiring the team's controversial name and logo after 87 years. Washington's NFL team had used the nickname since 1933. The move comes after years of controversy about the name being racist and insensitive. It remains unclear what the team will be called. The organization says it is working to develop a new name and logo. The education of what's racist and insensitive in this country is continuing in other parts of the NFL too. The Philadelphia Eagles fined Desean Jackson after his recent social media post citing a fake Hitler quote. Jackson apologized, but the Eagles told him that if he doesn't commit to supporting his words with actions, he will be released. Jackson accepted a 94-year-old Holocaust survivor's invitation to visit a Nazi concentration camp in Poland. A few days after, the Philadelphia Jewish Sports Hall of Fame extends an invitation to the Eagles receiver to attend its next enshrinement ceremony. It's time for the dehumanizing of other groups to stop. Thankfully, these conversations are taking center stage around the country these days, and resolution seems to finally be upon us. More stars, even in sports, and franchises for that matter too, are being held accountable. My hope is that we move from stereotypical portrayals and much more toward historically accurate narratives. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.